Hey, no, hey, I agree. Thank you.
It just doesn't want to work.
Well, I was actually on perfect.
That's
Oh, that's pretty
so
nice.
curious that you say that, because my email is not back up.
I know, that's why I was
Oh, good.
panicking, like, I don't remember printing one today.
Well, your password, what's your password? I said, I don't give anyone my password.
I always
And
appreciate
so
it.
they did whatever, and I sent it out, and it was online.
Oh.
But it's like, I just know
So
if
it's
I
like-
don't do it, like, right away, it's
No
gonna be
wonder,
Wednesday.
so I can
like
filter
two, and
through,
I'm gonna die.
and whatever.
The other
So
thing
no
you have to
access.
go through.
I said, no one
Yeah.
They all are
Have it,
thinking,
like, top of mind.
why? Because, why am I sending you
Like,
anything
my
that
dad
always
just
gets
literally
back to me? I said,
Post it,
yeah,
post it.
because
Do the thing and then
they
throw it away and
changed
I'm
my
like, okay.
password.
So I know
And it
that's-
wasn't anything that I would have ever figured out.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh, you switched it up a number or down a number, or,
Did somebody hack you, maybe?
not that they said, unless they did it.
Hello, audience.
Hello, how
Lovely
are
to see
you?
you all.
How are you enjoying your summer?
Mine doesn't start till Friday.
Oh, Friday.
Yeah. Actually, I guess I took Thursday. Thursday.
Sometimes the browser won't recognize.
But yeah, you wouldn't
I've
know
had
it's
trouble
summer.
Yeah.
With my antivirus and my Google and getting access to my Ancestry account.
Just that.
If I use my Avast
It's like the spot.
Google browser, it won't let me
That's what I
in, but if I
wrote.
go to my Edge,
That's what I
go to
did.
my
Yeah.
other
Do you want me to-
server,
Banana bread,
it goes right in.
No worries.
I got some
Does
notice
Celeste
that
know
if
that
I
we're
don't do
having, is
something,
she
It won't
on?
recognize
Or
anything
do
I
we need
put
to
in.
tell her
Well,
we're having tech
I
issues?
should probably ask Darren, because it
International
said on
phone.
Friday, if you do
Like
not
they
do
hand
this by
you
Friday,
one
you will
pellet.
lose your computer access. And I went, oh, don't threaten me again. I mean, I already
The
lost.
height of luxury, really.
But that's a good point.
We don't get out much.
Right, Vinny?
Isn't that great?
Catherine, are we zooming, Kylie?
No, we're zooming Celeste.
Oh.
She is, exposed.
I'm not feeling well.
Who's that?
Somebody
So,
away.
can you imagine this weather compared to yesterday?
I was in
anybody in.
Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, do you want me to tell
I wanted
Celeste
to
where
ask you,
to go if
I
she
got
wants to
the
join
most
us?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Oh, nice.
I was at Timber Soccer Town,
There we go.
and I noticed that wonderful Multnomah Club had their own balcony.
They put everything
Built.
I know.
I think my son's
Yeah.
going to be interested.
Yeah.
That's fun.
He was
There's
interested
little,
in it.
about that size, you
And
know?
Yeah.
I looked
Yeah.
online, I got a sense it was exclusive. I couldn't get any information about how much it cost to join.
You know, I don't have to.
I saw there was a lottery.
Good idea.
There we go.
And that's true, because so many people want it.
I don't want to.
And it is.
Okay, here we go. Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Declaration of potential conflict of interest, Erica. Sue.
None.
Mike.
None.
None. Perfect. And do we don't have Celeste yet. Public comment, does anybody would like to make some public comment? No? All right.
Do we have anybody on the sheet? I guess that's
Is there anybody online?
I can check.
Oh.
No, you still just got it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, Darren, do you have an extra packet?
I do, actually.
Here, I think you can grab this one from up here.
No, it's fine.
I think you grabbed it all. 'Cause this is not last month.
Yeah.
I have two packets, but I have notes all over them.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Consider.
Moving along to the adoption of the approved 2022-2023 budget. So somebody needs to read this entire resolution, top to bottom.
I can do that.
All right.
You read it before, so I can do it too. So resolution number 2021-2022-06, adopting the budget. Be it resolved, first of all, can you hear me with
Yeah,
my
you're good.
mask on? Okay. Be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Sunset Empire Park and Recreation District hereby adopts the budget
for fiscal year 2022-2023 in the total amount of $4,770,303. This budget is now on file at district offices 1140 Broadway in Seaside, Oregon. Making appropriations. Be it resolved that the amounts shown below are hereby appropriated for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022 for the following purposes. General Fund. Administrative Services, $717,530. Maintenance Services, $4,224 $4,200, oh, God almighty. You know,
You can do it.
I'm so sorry. I'm gonna stop laughing. $424,290. Aquatic Services, $646,060. Recreation Services, $97,652. Youth Program Services, $681,637. Community Center Services, $145,792. Special Event Services, $110,050. Debt Service 0, transfers $388,330. Contingency, $50,000. Total, $3,261,341. Sunset Recreation Center Fund Personnel, $175,244. Materials and Supplies, $279,950. Capital Outlay, $75,000. Debt Service, $175,269. Contingency, $10,000. Total, $715,463. Capital Fund Personnel 0, Materials and Supplies 0. Board Discretionary, $134,000. Capital Outlay 0. Debt Service 0. Contingency 0. Total $134,000. Broadway Field Fund Personnel, $19,330. Materials and Supplies, $25,500. Capital Outlay 0. Debt Service 0. Contingency 0. Total $44,830. Total appropriations, all funds, $4,155,634. Total unappropriated and reserve amounts, all funds, $614,669. Total adopted budget, $4,770,303. Imposing the tax. Be it resolved that the following ad valorem property taxes are hereby imposed upon the assessed value of all taxable property within the district for tax year 2022-2023. 1, at the rate of 0.9280 per $1,000 of assessed value for permanent rate tax. Categorizing the tax. Be it resolved that the taxes imposed are hereby categorized for purposes of Article 11, Section 11B as subject to the general government limitation permanent tax rate 0.9280/$1,000. The above resolution statements were approved and declared adopted on June 28, 2022, and it is awaiting signature of Catherine Parker and Michael Hinton, board chairperson and board secretary. And my apologies for my
Hey,
gaffe.
good.
Yeah,
You did really good. I was like, what?
Do we have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mike.
Nintendo.
Yeah, all in favor signify aye, opposed nay. Erica?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you, Chris and Darren, for all your hard work. And Sue for saying that. Yeah, Darren, do you want to hand it?
Please.
Sign right now.
Please. I appreciate that.
All right. Correspondence. I don't think I remember seeing correspondence in here. Was there correspondence in here? Well, yeah, no. I don't think there was any. Okay. Recognition of the SEPRD Employee of the Month, Amanda Browning, who is probably still currently working. Yes, okay. Well, we will, just tell her that we said amazing, fabulous things about her, and, actually, Amanda, was nominated by Lindsay Wolf, the aquatic coordinator, and she is a head guard and swim instructor for aquatics, and she has been teaching my children to swim for the past, 6 years. She goes above and beyond to ensure the safety of staff and patrons. She is an amazing swim instructor. All the kids love her, which is true. She does a great job teaching other staff as well. She continues to show her dedication throughout the district by helping out at various events. She runs a treasure dive every year and helps with the egg hunt, and Amanda excels in everything she does for the district, and we are very, very thankful for her. So, when you see her, you would
Pass
please
those things along.
pass those along. Okay. Thank you so much. We got to tell her, like, we went on for like 20 minutes, and said all these
We could
things.
eat.
Yeah,
We all do.
yeah. He's gonna wanna check it out, so keep talking.
Approval of the board meeting minutes from May 24th, 2022. Has everyone had a chance to read the board meeting minutes?
Yes.
Which are on page 16. Any thoughts, discussions, questions?
I looked at the minutes, I thought the minutes looked good.
Yeah, I did too.
And, if needed, I will move to approve them.
Perfect.
I'll second.
Thank you. Mike and Sue, all in favor signify aye, opposed nay. Erica?
Aye.
Sue? Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Review of the financials for May of 2022, which is on 18. Did everyone have a chance to look those over and get their questions answered? And if not, we have Chris here and Jerry.
It does look like we'll squeak through the year, but, in the black.
Yep.
We
I
did.
think we did good.
Good thing, and then, it looks pretty good. I was looking at the check report, and I keep wondering, or I thought we just saved this question since Skylar was gone, but, we're always, seems like every month, we're writing 2 or 3 or big checks to Tire Technologies. Just how much money a year do we have to pay them?
That's a fantastic question,
Yeah,
Mike.
I would like to know
Yeah.
what our contract is.
So, yeah, what you'll see that we're paying on right now is some wrap-up from the installation of the ExecuTime module. So we're still paying on that since they didn't complete that project until it really terminated, what was that, March 15th, probably,
Yeah.
right in that area. So you'll see those initial first-year costs that are associated with that.
Okay.
That's also the licensure, so the first-year licensure, the first-year maintenance fees, and those sorts of things. So we looked ahead at what our contract said. So I think for ExecuTime, I think it's about $1,900 a year that you'll see as an ongoing maintenance cost for that.
So our cost goes down.
Right, so, and then for Encode, which is our finance software, that annual fee is a little bit higher. And you'll see probably another big check coming for that next month, and that'll be about $11,000 as an ongoing. That's all of your maintenance costs, your annual licensure. But Encode also includes the Tyler Parks piece that's built into that with Encode. So those two are built together, and then you'll see those billed together, and then you'll see ExecuTime billed separately. So.
Okay.
So altogether, we're probably looking at about $13,000 a year for all of our software products as an annual maintenance and licensure. So one of the reasons we made the move to go toward them is because we saw the costs increasing for not only for Rec 1, and they were going to go. They sent us a notice. They said that they were going to go up annually 5% every single year. So we thought that was quickly going to price us out of our POS system. And then with Sage Business Works, they had kind of completely cut that product. So we were either going to have to look for another product, which we did, or we were gonna have to move into one of their higher end products that we had never used before. So there would have been kind of a bigger migration in that. And their overall cost would have been really pretty much in line with what Tyler Technologies was able to offer us as well. So when Marcus sat down and ran the numbers side by side, that's kind of where we were at. But the big benefit with Tyler was you got Tyler Parks was kind of built in with that as well. So we will have some installation and maintenance fees coming for Tyler Parks when we get to that place. But that will be a one-off or a one-time payment for their time to help us set it up, training, and do pieces when we do get people.
That's good background. I just have one other question. The two items were close together. I was just wondering, could you give me some background on Hurley Engineering and Liftoff LLC?
Yeah.
What do they do for us?
Yeah, Liftoff LLC is our Microsoft Office 365 products. That's all of our email. The annual licensure fees for our email. That's also all of our software, because as you may or may not be aware of, there was a day when you could buy a disk for Office 365 or Office products and put it in, and you held that until you could no longer use that product until it was sort of ancient. Nowadays everything's subscription based, but all the subscriptions for our Word, Excel, Publisher, it's all wrapped up in our email licensure. So your level of email licensure gives you access to
It's like a commercial level.
it's a government level of government tier
Yeah.
with Office 365. So
It's amazing how all that stuff adds up.
yeah, very much so. As far as Hurley, I'm not
I've got that
familiar with Hurley, but Chris. you can probably speak to
Hurley
that.
Engineering is the company that we're using for HVAC parts. It's just HVAC parts.
HVAC parts.
HVAC.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the one that we had to go through. That is going to be the best way to go.
Thank you.
Any other questions, discussion, comments?
I just love the fact that Mike and I had the same question.
Yeah.
And I came in and I asked ahead of time.
All right, would somebody like to motion? Go for it, Sue.
I motion that we accept the budget, the monthly budget for
Financials.
financial budget, thank you. For May ending through May 31st, 2022.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Erica. All in favor, signify by aye. Opposed, nay. Erica.
Aye.
Sue.
Aye.
Mike.
Fine.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. All right, Levi, you're on.
Here. Okay. Oh, there you go.
Now we're blocking.
It's okay, I can see your laptop.
Okay. Even now?
Yes.
Actually, hold this here.
Do we have another one of people on the table?
We do, actually, you know.
I know.
I think I know where to find it.
Look at that.
All right.
Where they gave me the big bucks.
Thank you. Thank you, Dina.
All right, Levi Connor, the Director of Facilities and Maintenance. Glad to be here. Let's run through a couple things that we've been doing last year, for a couple years, since that last season. So we've developed a vision for our department, and the vision of the maintenance department is to provide excellent services and support of SEPRD's recreational environment through optimizing management systems, best practices, and technology. That's a lot, but Any questions on any of that?
I love that you guys made a vision statement, it's great.
Yeah. So we didn't stop there. We went and created a mission statement, and this is the whole maintenance team, all of us got together and we just came up through ideas and agreed on this. The mission is to provide a safe, clean, productive, and well-maintained environment for our community by delivering professional services that are sustainable and supportive of all SEPRD activities and programs. And then we have values too, but I didn't include that. They're much longer. But they are posted in our office. More than welcome to come check those out. So for staffing, I'm also the risk management chair, which is a pretty big responsibility, especially now with COVID and all that. Now we're ending, now we're going into other OSHA requirements. So under me, there's a maintenance coordinator, it's full-time, then we have 2 field maintenance that are part-time, and then the grounds maintenance that's part-time, and then custodial, 2 part-time.
Does the custodial, the 2 part-time, does that include the new folks that were hired to help with weekend operations?
One of those positions is,
Yeah.
taken care of, except I'm still in it for that, until we can hopefully find more staffing. But, yeah, so, main pool pump. I included this because it was down for quite some time, and this right here is a picture of the ball bearings that actually help make the motor run and everything. So these are just examples of bad bearings, and then missing bearings that got just destroyed. And even though you do routine preventative maintenance and greasing on a regular basis, you can still encounter these unexpected issues. So most motors have 2 bearings, front and back. This particular one, it's a 375-pound motor plus a volute that's about 200 pounds, all connected together down in the pit. So it's not easy. So you just never know when those are going to happen. So despite the preventive maintenance, this particular bearing could take 5 to 6 days. And again, you saw what the staffing model is for us, and there's essentially 2 of us doing this. So maybe the downtime is a little longer than other places, but we also don't have a contract with the company to come in. And even if we did, we'd be spending a lot more money, and those dates could turn into 10 to 14 days.
Where's the pit?
It's in the mechanical room?
So is that off by where the lifeguards are?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys can see all that. It's quite a task. So there's a lot of plumbing you have to drain first, and then you have to cool it down. So, any questions on that? It's not what we ever really want to look forward to doing.
It's a big job.
Yeah,
It always happens at the wrong or
there's no good time.
I was gonna look it up, what's volute?
A volute is the best way. So on a boat has a motor and the impeller, then you have a propeller. So propeller is outside, and then impeller is on the inside. And there's the housing that protects that. So then what that does is the motor will turn that volute that's attached to the shaft, and then it'll spit the water up or out or wherever direction that volute is designed. All right, we'll get right to the Sunset Recreation Center. Since we took over the building, we made some upgrades to the east boiler, which that's upstairs and controls 2/3 of the building. So it's one of the newer systems. We've replaced the water circulator, and that's another fun task. It's ceiling height and then behind everything and fixed plumbing, so makes it a little interesting. But we updated the air separator, and that's actually where the Hurley engineering comes in. all this, anything we do on this system has to be engineered, and we have to go through that process, so. We can do the install, it just has to be engineered. So we've completely torn it down, checked it, so we know what it looks like going into full service. Then the west boiler, that's the big one down by the library. That is, can't remember the age of that, but, next week we have our internal inspection, that's every 2 years by the state. So this will be a new one for me on the internal side, so should be looking forward to it. So, we made a lot of updates with the manual reset and stuff that are now bringing it up to current code. So, but otherwise, both boilers are working great. All right, we've also been doing a lot of roof sealing. A lot of it's been preventative. You know, when we do find a couple leaks and stuff, they're usually around scuppers or roof drains that just get accumulated with leaves or debris. So, but yeah, I know we've done a lot of lighting upgrades through grants and stuff that help fund that. So, hallways, cafeteria, all the youth program areas, restrooms. The biggest one was the gym. Gym 1 was, and that was through donations and grants and stuff. So that was great. Gym 2 is on the slate for later in this year. All right, another big task that we did was the Gym 1 floor refinishing, and it's kind of a picture of what it looks like when you first start. A lot of mess, and this is just a fine little sanding. It's not a complete tear down all the way down to the wood. It's just probably you use an oil base probably a few years to get out of it before you have to do it again. But just all that dust accumulation, you have to control that. So that in itself takes a long time. So just 2 of us were doing this, so we usually get a contractor to come out here and they can knock it out, but they usually have 10 to 14 people or so. Everybody has their task and just moving right along. So I think I'm very impressed with my staff, and then the other additional staff that did help. Yeah, so.
With the fact that we've, it's no longer being used as a school, is that gonna change how often the maintenance has to be done for that type of thing?
Yes.
So it'll be less often?
It depends on what we decide on how we're gonna utilize that.
Could be more.
Yeah, it could be.
I saw the pictures online of the bright, shiny new, I mean, it is very shiny. You did a great job.
Yeah, we've been playing on it, it's amazing, like, thank you so much. It's awesome.
It's night and day.
Yeah, it is night and day.
Yeah. Restriped it for pickleball?
So yeah,
Yeah.
we did add pickleball in there,
Yeah.
3 courts, and those lines are a yellow. But it turns out yellow, we color match it to more of a yellow-orange off of pickleball tape that they use, and that's what you get. So
Okay.
I think it's very distinct, but it doesn't interfere with the volleyball or basketball lines.
It's awfully pretty.
Yeah.
So,
Good.
yeah,
That'd be great.
get a chance.
Great. And honestly, I think 5 days for 2 people
Yeah.
in both gyms, I mean, that sounds pretty amazing to me.
Yeah.
That's a huge space.
Long hours, and fortunately, we didn't have to put anything on hold,
Yeah.
within the district. So I think timing was on our side, and
Yeah.
which, I'll take that. But yeah, our use could, we went oil-based because we can get longevity out of it. Where if you use water-based, you're going to do it every year. So whereas a school had about 400 students using it, but they weren't always on the gym. So we're going to probably have full day long, 8-10-hour days of activity. So
Well, I mean, it's a school, I mean, they were constantly rotating gym classes through there, I'm sure.
yeah.
Probably fairly similar.
So, but I think for the model, we're just going to go in, kind of follow what a traditional school district would for that, and we'll make adjustments as needed. Part of the risk management, some new things came down through the pike. It's the OSHA wildfire smoke and heat illness, and this is pretty it's a heavy topic right now. So the heat rule took effect June 15th, and then the wildfire smoke is July 1st. I was in class this morning going over all the new stuff. A lot of stuff just kind of rolled out. We worked on it through SDAO and their insurance, and then several months passed, and then now we have this. So it's takes some time to catch up, but yeah, it means a lot of things are going to change for like mostly the outside staff or any activities. We use programs outside during. So more to come.
So basically, I'm assuming those mean that if we hit a certain temperature or something for the heat rules, then we can't be doing certain activities. Is that what that means?
Yeah, or limit that, or include more shade, breaks, water.
Yeah.
So right now it's at equal to 80 degrees or higher.
Wow.
To 90 degrees, and 90 degrees equal or higher, then it goes into another step. So, but yeah, we'll be looking at that, doing all the trainings. I passed my 2 classes today with that. Then we'll just get the rest of the staff brought up to speed and trained in the next few weeks, hopefully. Our committee is also working on developing protocols for the Sunset Recreation Center. Such a large building, probably new to even some of our staff, not knowing what it's going to be used, what it's going to look like in the future and stuff. So we're trying to kind of look forward, thinking. The active shooter lockdown, we're going to develop a protocol with that, with the latest Texas incident that really kind of shot this up a little bit quicker to our committee. And then there's lockout, which is a non-direct threat. So that could be something that's in the area that we just do a lockdown. So it's not going to be as severe or intense as an active shooter that would be in the building or something, or around outside of the building. We did have consultation with a nonprofit organization. They came and they toured the facility, and we spent several hours going through some things that would help us develop that protocol. And I hope to use them in the future.
I would maybe suggest reaching out to the school district because they have all these in place, and it might be, I'm sure they would share.
Yeah.
And but it would also be probably nice for the students to have consistency in what to expect.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Being so close in proximity, and students are using our facility and vice versa. So,
yeah. So I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Just suggest that.
Thank you. We can do that. Evacuation, the different types, fire, tsunami, everything else that we can think of. And then facility security measures. That could be from just, if you have an office, just closing your window, locking your door, or simple things like that, housekeeping. And that is it.
He said it would be quick.
Yeah.
Thank you, Levi.
Any questions?
Any additional questions?
Any additional questions?
There we go.
I have about the tsunami, because of the work that CERT's done with the city and looking at the evacuation route. Have you got maps and that kind of thing, or can I provide those to you?
You're more welcome to provide that to us, yes.
Okay.
That is, it's kind of on the back burner right now until we get our occupancy. That's going to dictate, too, how we're going to utilize an evacuation plan, how to create that, because one side of the building might be different than another. And then if you have a renter in there or something, then that changes the game too. So we have to be, as like a landlord, then we'd have to have that, and then we'd have to kind of scale that back down.
Well, because basically I just have a map for you to get out and get,
Yeah, so we actually have to get the people out of the building
Right.
safely, and then we move to the next step. And so that's where I think our biggest hurdle right now is. So right now, we're utilizing the same protocols as it was at school, since we're technically under that occupancy. So once we make that transition, things are gonna change.
And so I'll bring those and just leave them at the front, tomorrow.
Perfect.
So can you just tell me, because I know some of what your background, will you just tell me, like, how many years you have in, you know, to bring you to this role? Because I think that it's very easy to not understand just how much training and education goes into what you do, and I'm so grateful that you're here.
For sure. 25 years in the park and rec industry. So, and leading up to that, come from a contracting family. So my dad was a contractor, both on the residential and commercial side. He's still in the commercial side. So yeah, a lot of that grew up doing it, and then getting the experience, and then once, starting with Parks and Rec, it just kind of catapulted that career. So, yeah, I have a lot of knowledge, and I'm happy to share and make improvements along the way.
Yeah, you guys have done a lot. I mean, I think even some of the things you've just coordinated, for example, the field replacement stuff, and, you know, it hasn't been a very easy year, like stuff that's just like coming up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the building's looking amazing, but looks nicer up there, so.
Yeah.
Not to discredit, you know, the previous owner, but I think we have an obligation to, for our industry and what we need to look out for, so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And the safety, you know, like I think simple things like the floor, like, it's kind of a safety thing, and now it's just, it's awesome.
Yeah. So now we just gotta keep it up.
Yep.
So developing those maintenance plans for that specific type
Right.
of flooring and then staffing.
Yeah.
But we all know that, and thank you for all your support,
Yeah.
and we'll hopefully continue more.
Yeah.
Yes, Mike?
I just have one question, and it's about your staff, you know, the staff that you direct. And it's good to get staffed up, you know, or get your positions filled. Do you have any, problems with staff retention in your department?
A little bit.
What is the main issue?
I'd say pay.
The pay?
The pay rate, yeah.
Courtney's been with me for a while, a little bit.
I think we're like a
Years?
year and 7 months or so,
Okay.
right in there. Yeah.
Do you think do you guys feel like the COLA, that will help a little bit right now, or, I think everyone's dealing with this, I know we are at work, just, the market, like, the difference in the cost of labor versus like just the cost of living, because it can be one thing, like, with the cost of living going up, but also just finding people who are specific to the needs you have is a whole other
Right.
thing, so.
Yeah. I think the
Think
COLA
the things
does
they're like
help.
combining, you know, and it's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, I think too, it's tough is finding the right person for the position. And you can hire anybody, you know, that'll come through, but you also, part of that retention is, you know, benefits are great, pay is great too, but if you're hiring somebody just to fill a position and there's no proprietor, you know, they don't want to do certain tasks, then that's another aspect. But we try to recruit, and you can go through several people before you find that right person, or, you know, maybe it's constantly tweaking how that program, you know, maintenance program works. But, yeah, it's constant challenge, but the number one feedback is pay.
Yeah. What's the janitorial, like, hasn't that been kind of hard to retain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, that's typically unsupervised
Yeah,
and late hours or
yeah.
not.
Does the janitorial also receive benefits, or is it not necessarily
No.
because of the FTE percentage?
Correct.
Yeah.
Eventually, I think at some point we'll get an FTE for that position.
Yeah, that'd be amazing,
At the rec center, but,
because then you could provide benefits, and that would be a lot more appealing.
Yeah, and then we can have a structure too of
Yeah.
part-time, morning shift, you know, different
Right.
shift, different, so yeah.
I think it's also that kind of industry of, you know, cleaning, maintaining. I mean, I know my husband for Parks and Rec, you know, finding people to do the ranger
Yeah.
assistant jobs, you know, they can do that, or they can go down the street and work at McDonald's and make the same amount, if not more. So,
Right.
you know, it's, which
Yeah.
one do you wanna do?
I guess, suppose you also need to try to hire people that are receptive to training, people that you see a future for, that they can build up their level of responsibility.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, the school, I mean, I feel like the school district has done a pretty good job of retaining janitors over the years. Well,
Well,
I've seen some that
yes.
have stayed for like quite a long
Yeah.
time.
But
And I
that
think-
we're also short.
Brown's been there for-
Yeah, there's, but I think a lot of it's because of the benefits.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
It's a notoriously difficult job,
Yeah.
you know,
Underappreciated. for
and
sure.
underappreciated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think that we've had pretty good retention. I mean, I know we lost a gentleman just recently. I was sorry to see Kip go. But I mean, he's been here for many years. I've been so grateful to be able to say hi to him
Yeah,
and to always see him working
Yeah.
diligently.
it lost him to higher wage, so, it's unfortunate, but we're not the only ones. There's
No.
obviously other businesses and things out there that are in the same boat, and kudos to them, you know.
I think what's trending too is there's this idea that maybe people will come back to some of these jobs, you know, that I think people are leaving a lot of jobs right now, but that some people are starting to return too, so
Yeah.
maybe as you guys get, you know, things, we're constantly just growing and improving.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's great. I mean, I've hired several people from, out of high school from the Pacifica. They come work and then they get on, with us and work a couple of years, and then they train and then they're able to move on, and I'm happy with that. If I can better somebody's career or, you know, then that's awesome. That's a win for me,
Yeah.
so.
So I have a question and a comment. My comment is, I thank you for a mission and a value statement, and, I mean, that's pretty neat, and I thank you for that foresight. And the other thing is, what brought you to Seaside?
Different job opportunity. I wasn't going, kind of stuck in my position. Oftentimes in government, you can climb real high and then you're stuck. So I was in the position for, probably, about 4 or 5 years with no end sight, you know, no end in sight for promotion or anything, so, it's unfortunate, but that, and I love the coast, so there happened to be an opportunity, so, yeah, career advancement. So,
Who wouldn't want to work yourself?
right.
Thank you, Levi.
I'm glad you're here.
Yes.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Moving on, old business fee review, Skylar included a letter on page
22.
yes. This was his proposal, so, any discussion on,
Wait, so the proposed fee is out of district?
yes,
Okay.
so, I think you missed the last, was that the last meeting, when we were discussing?
No, I was here, I guess it doesn't say
So-
out of district.
No.
So please note that all fee increases
Yeah.
are for the out-of-district patrons, as in-district resident rates remain at the current rate. So that was our intention, was to,
Yeah.
leave in-district because they're already,
Definitely, I was here for that one,
okay.
yeah.
And then at the, we were gonna remove some of these extra, things from being available for non-residents.
Available,
So non-residents can no longer get the open swim punch pass, they just have to pay the open swim fee. So
Oh,
they
I
can still
see.
come,
Yeah.
but they just can't
Yeah.
purchase the passes. And then the general admission punch pass and the senior general admission punch pass.
Okay.
So they would just have to pay the fee every time that they come.
Is this like a percentage increase across the board?
No,
Or just-
I think we would have discouraged Skylar from sticking to a percentage and more trying to be in line with some of the other districts. But
Yeah, like to look
Yeah.
at it by line item.
Yep.
I think it looks, pretty well measured.
Yeah.
And, I think it's workable. Is this an action item for tonight?
I believe it could be if you wanted it to be.
Excuse me?
I said, I believe it could be if you wanted it to be.
I think what we wanted to do is provide visibility and to the public and
And
offer them the opportunity to discuss. He is hoping that we will approve these changes in the July meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And which will allow staff time to implement for September. So I think this is just bringing this to the public eye, having some discussion about it, and then potentially approving it next
If
month.
we adopt this, based on, we could change the potential revenue, would we have to modify our budget or supplement it, if you will? Or is it a
I
small
don't think
percentage?
I don't think
A
it's
very
gonna
small
change
percentage.
it that much. Yeah, yeah. But if we did,
Yeah.
so be it, right?
Yeah, so be it.
Right.
Okay.
More than happy to make that.
Yes, thank you, Darren, and, thank you, Chris.
I think they're on track.
Okay, Broadway Field, so the next page there, I'm sure you guys have read it and the updates and the emails, and, right now, I think we are just basically in a holding pattern, because most of the property that, would need to be renovated is City of Seaside. There's very little portion that is actually Parks and Rec.
Yeah, from what I understand, it sounds like the city of Seaside didn't feel there's enough information presented. And so I think the school district is trying to work on that. Right, is that right? That's what I
Yeah.
was told.
Yeah, I think,
Basically, I sat there at the board meeting, I wasn't able to go last night, so I don't know if it came up, but, basically, Susan Penrod, right, laid out, questions were asked, and, there were a lot of answers discussed about what the future is for the North 40 versus, the, unusability of the Wahana, area. So I think, there was a lot of encouragement to allow the public to take in what this is. Because my first time, like, I don't know about you, but the first time I heard, well, we're just gonna pick up and move that facility, it was like,
so I
really?
had an interesting discussion with Skylar about that, because he spoke with the engineer that was saying that we could do that. And part of the reason that they were saying that that is the more feasible option was because of the age of the building being a newer facility. The fact that were they to try and duplicate that facility somewhere else, some of the materials are years out for production. And so the benefit of just moving the building outweighed some of those costs, which I thought was interesting.
The problem is I think what the problem is there hasn't been a lot of due diligence in like communicating with the partners on that from the school district. So, for example, I don't think Seaside Kids is consulted, and they basically own a lot of that, the rights to that facility, I guess. So I think there's been just a lot of things outstanding that community partners need to work together on.
Yeah.
I think that Skylar, bringing this to our attention,
Yeah.
there's nothing that we need to
Yeah.
do at this point. I think it's just keeping us updated.
I'm wondering if we're gonna replace the turf field, possibly, with this, why don't we, these batting cages, why don't we shift the field? How far do we need to shift the field? I know that the girls softball and the baseball need to be able to have games simultaneously. That also means they're gonna need parking to support two different crowds. And I don't know if that's really been addressed. We have a huge parking lot, fortunately, that would support that, if the.
Assuming we're not
Field, but
using it
Could
for,
Broadway Field, that means everything, maybe the baseball field, I don't know. Would have to be-
Yeah, that's something that I've heard
We
people
shift it.
bring up, is why not shift it towards the river?
Yeah, why not just move it, you know, move the
And use that
restrooms
space,
and
so there's
shift.
that too.
The bleachers are loose, they could be all moved, they were all moved.
Yep.
For
Rather than
surplus,
moving the
for
facility.
surplus from Astoria.
well, and the bummer thing for me about moving the facility is that we lose the garden. Which
Right.
is, which
But-
I think,
Yeah, I noticed that, that is disappointing.
Tyler said that he had a plan.
well, I
regarding
think
that.
part of the plan that is either to relocate them to where we already have some of the garden boxes out there. Or I had also proposed, that stretch of field in between the playgrounds could be used, because there's already water and power right there. But I still think that needs to be considered too, because the community gets benefit out of those
We could-
garden
We
boxes.
could pump up the railroad gardens more if we had to close these. It's kind of nice having the gardens close to the preschool.
Yeah, well, it
Maybe some
kept,
gardening could be blended in with other areas of our landscape.
it kept, I think, maybe like a couple boxes that we could still use for
Yeah.
the preschool programming. but-
But what is the actual date, Catherine? What is
This
the
has-
date for, no, not for the, doesn't the school district need to decide, like,
Yes, so
What is
it's,
that date?
it's on here.
Oh, it
It's June,
no,
hold on.
June?
Of next year.
2023.
Yeah.
Oh, 2023,
Yeah.
but, no, but that's completion.
Completed.
Isn't there a date that they have to present the?
There,
plan by or something?
okay, that's not it. June 15th, 2023, with reporting check-ins along the way. So we have no idea what those are, when those are, but it's supposed to be completed by June of next year.
Wow.
Sorry.
Wow. Wow.
So,
I feel badly about that batting cage, this thing with the school district was going on well before
we
the
built that.
Title IX, well before the batting cage came
Yeah, there's
on the
plenty of time
agenda.
to consider.
And I don't know, not much I can really comment.
Well, I feel like Skylar is fairly on top of this discussion, and he's been meeting with the city and meeting with the school district, so I think for our part, we just need to be aware of it and just kind of wait,
Yeah,
wait and see, honestly.
roll with the punches and, keep our checkbook closed.
Well, what I understood was, as we get closer to the work being done, the work of, updating the turf was gonna be incorporated into that, so that the downtime and whatever would be coordinated, so the community is able to benefit,
Yeah.
by getting
That's
it
like
all
the
done at once.
ideal scenario, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
We'll see,
I mean, it's still a future date, but
yeah.
it's too bad it didn't get done correctly the first time.
Yeah, you think. it's
No
like-
comment.
That's what I'm about.
All right, moving on, new business, the cost of living adjustment. So, we approved the cost of living adjustment for the staff. However, Skylar is our employee, so we need to approve a cost of living for Skylar if we so choose. So we need a motion.
I motion to approve the cost of living for Skylar virtual.
And then Darren, when are the cost of living for the staff taking effect?
Sounds
They
like
take
every-
effect, they already did, at the beginning of this, pay period, because this pay period crosses over into July. So it would have been the 19th was the first day of this pay period.
So maybe retroactive?
Yeah, I think it needs to be the same,
Okay, you want to
Yeah.
rephrase your motion?
July 19th, June 19th,
Or
Retro.
26, sorry, Darren.
June 26th.
26. 26.
Oh.
I move that we
Yeah.
approve a 5% cost of living adjustment for Skylar Archibald, retro to July 26th. June 26th, 2022.
Thank you. Do we have a second, or any other discussion?
Oh, I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Mike. All in favor, signify aye. Opposed, nay. Erica?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
And I think the rest was like the goals or the initiatives.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I'm not the executive director, but,
Okay. We didn't have one for board and executive director.
so effective, do you want me to fill that in, or you're gonna fill that in?
June 20, just got it.
June
26th.
26, 2022. All right, perfect, thank you. Are you doing the director's report?
I am.
Okay.
I am. I'll see if, how well I can, do the director's report. So just a goals update, and Skylar actually printed up the goals update, in here.
Page 37.
Page 37. So, obtaining full occupancy for the Sunset Recreation Center, and be in the process of utilizing the building spaces, providing more recreation and community space. I think the big piece out of this is the obtaining full occupancy. So a couple of weeks ago, we had an opportunity to walk around the building with the architect, and Skylar and Levi and I accompanied him on that walkthrough. And what came out of that was this piece. This is something that he shared with us. I'll hand these out to you guys. It is bigger. And I'll hand these guys out to you guys, and you can hang on to these and bring them with you to the July 19th
What time is
workshop.
that?
4 o'clock on July 19th, so you guys will be meeting in here.
So I will not be here.
Okay. Anyway, so these are just some of the documents that he shared with us. I'm not going to go through all of these, but he was very, very optimistic, and had a chance to connect a few times with Bob Mitchell over at the city. They've had some really great conversations. I think he and Bob and we are all on the same page. Just a few things that we needed to address. I was able to connect them up with folks from Pacific Alarms, so he could get all the details and kind of a history on the alarm system over there. That was one of Bob's concerns. So I got him connected with Janae. He's getting all the information he needs for that piece. And so he's just got a kind of a short list of things that really need to be addressed. Obviously, ADA accessibility is kind of an issue, but he had some great ideas for retroing those doors on the egress from the gym bay. I think we could put, a larger door here with a little, little side light on it, and that would meet the need there. We don't have to retro the steps to provide a ramp egress as long as we have ADA accessibility and ramp in another part of the building or that space, and which we do in the gyms. So yeah, he was very, very optimistic that we could move on some of these things pretty quickly. So, and obviously he'll have a lot more share with you guys on July 19th.
I'm so grateful I can read this.
Yeah.
However, I gotta ask, the 19th is a CERT meeting.
Okay, Tuesday, July 19th.
That's 4.
It's at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, and so I need to set up before 5 o'clock. So.
All right. So we'll kind of put that out to Skylar and to obviously, so then that.
I had our workshop on the 12th.
Okay.
That we normally would have done the workshop.
Okay.
I hope I'm here.
Are you not
So
here on the
The
12th?
12th won't work for Brandon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is
The 19th was his first
It'll be
available.
working
Yeah.
in California.
So it was the 12th?
Well, 12th would have normally been your workshop, but Brandon Dole wasn't available on that day. The 19th was his date of availability.
I can attend by Zoom probably if I'm not.
Because I cannot attend by Zoom. I will be in the forest with no cell service.
Okay. All right. So let's just communicate these kind of issues with Skylar. Maybe there's a better date that would work.
Work to do Zoom.
Could he come before our board meeting on the 26th?
We can put that out to him and see.
Because if that were an option, we could just start at 4 on the 26th.
Yep.
And, I mean, I'd be willing to make a long day and,
That would work for me. Because I certainly can't be two places, although,
oh, we're just gonna phone you, Sue.
well, I'll just be over there. I'll be over there leading, going, what? You need a vote?
But if we could make that work, I think that would be the best ever.
Oh, that's right, it's a workshop, so there's no
So my
vote.
notes aside, I will pass that along to Skylar, we'll see if that would work better.
Okay, thank you, Darren.
Great. So yeah, so just kind of looking through some of these others, we hired the grant writer, to fundraise for phase improvements into the Sunset Recreation Center. Tanya's wonderful, I talked to her by phone, she's connected with, I think, just about the entire, management team, at this point, and she's got some really great ideas that, I'm sure that Skylar will be sharing with you guys, very, very soon, so.
I see she's coming in person July 11th or 14th. I think it would be great if we could arrange just a, hi, we're the board.
Yeah, or even, you know, even a little bit of time. I haven't had an opportunity to like meet with her yet, mostly because of just my schedule.
Yeah.
So I feel bad about that, so it might
Yeah.
be better to meet her in person.
Great. Speaking of grants, I believe, Melissa, did we get like a really nice grant that you did?
We did.
Yeah?
So we received, from NRTA, that's the National Park and Recreation Association, we received a $90,000 grant for, community wellness hubs. So that's, working with our community to, talk about nutrition, things like that. There's a couple of the parts to it. We also, I don't know if I want to, we haven't signed a contract yet.
Okay, don't,
On one.
yeah.
So,
Public meeting.
But
I'll
did you
share that.
say 90?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
well,
amazing.
And we had also received from Roundhouse Foundation $30,000 for expanding our child care for infant and toddlers.
Fabulous.
And then more news to come, so.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll wait on the other.
I appreciate all your hard work. That's awesome.
Yeah.
In the midst of your other jobs.
So, good news, we're looking ahead at number 5, we actually will, be returning Saturday operation.
Yeah.
So Saturday, July 2nd, will be our first, Saturday that will be open.
I liked the post
Oh my
on
gosh, I
Facebook, but
get
I
to be
didn't
in
like
the
it
water.
enough.
Right. It's been a long time coming. We finally, Lindsay's got a couple of folks that she elevated to head guard. That was kind of, for a while she had enough guards. We didn't have PRS or custodial. Now we've got PRS custodial, but we didn't have enough head guards. So she has two folks that stepped up to be head guard. They've been lifeguarding for quite a while now. So that's really exciting. So we've got all of our ducks in a row. So Saturday, July 2nd, we'll be open from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. We'll have the full schedule will be out soon if it isn't already in that post. Yeah, we'll have lap swim times, we'll have an open swim time, and then we'll close up with some lap swims. So
Is there a class on Saturday?
not at this point.
Yeah.
It's just lap swim and open swim at this point. I'm not sure. I'm sure at some point we'll be adding a class in. We used to have a Saturday noon
Right.
class in the warm water pool.
Baby steps.
So, but
I know. I told Zoe, I can't wait to be in the water 6 days a week.
yes.
Please tell Lindsay and Levi, thank you for making that happen, because I know those two pieces had to come together, so yay.
Yes.
Super excited about
It's
that.
been a walk on it, so we're excited about that. So, I think that's really all I have as far as the district goals update. Special events, things coming up. Obviously, Seaside Farmers Market's in full swing now. So.
Can I just pause you there on that
You-
topic?
yes.
How is the opening?
So opening was great for the farmer's market. We had over 500 people. That was on the 15th, I believe.
Yeah, it was like a
So next
first
week,
nice day we had.
yeah. And then last week was our second one.
Yeah.
And we had about the same, a little bit more, but over 500 people. It's been great. We've had a lot of transactions for our pottery group. So they're selling the pottery for a pottery program, and so we are the ones running the transactions through our Rec1 system. And then the other thing that's keeping us really busy is our EBT transactions. So this year, we again have a partnership with Snap Match and Double Up Food Bucks program. So, for example, if one of our patrons wants to charge $10 on their EBT card, we can do a Snap Match for another $10 that allows them to buy any of the food items that are at the market. And then through Double Up Food Bucks, they get an additional $20 that is just for produce. So for their $10, they end up with 40. So it's pretty amazing and hopefully helping a lot of people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great. Is that part, do we advertise that part?
We have it on some flyers and we've talked about it in our newsletter, and we also talked about, we had an article come out for the Visitors Bureau for their blog, and we talked about it there and did a press release as well. So yeah,
Should be, it is on our farmer's market webpage.
it is as well. Yes, yeah. So we put it on social media as well. And, yeah, a couple different places, but a lot of people, you know, we have signage at the market, so they'll come up and a lot of people know that we do the EBT transaction, but they may not be aware of how big
much
that
they
is.
get,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
That's great.
yeah, it's been a real benefit to people, I think. So yeah.
It was kind of fun that, one of our, patrons had just happened to mosey on over, and she said, we played tourist. And the thing is, she came back telling people, for one thing, I'm gonna go over and buy something for my daughter, as, you know, with a booth that'll be there, and there were other people in the pool that said, oh, you know, I guess we should check it out.
Word of mouth.
So that was
Spreading.
really very,
We have a lot of
unsolicited.
returning vendors, but we've got 40 plus vendors, and there's a lot of new ones as well. So some returning ones would be like, you know, Blackberry Farm, E&D Berries, a lot of the other folks that have been there with us for many years. But then we do have some new folks coming in that are great. Local businesses like Burley and the Bean, they're there now.
Okay.
So yeah, so we've got some good stuff going on, and music.
I remember at our last meeting, Celeste had proposed the question about whether or not the vendors themselves would appreciate having longer hours. Is that something that you hear?
Not
her
not
thought was
so much
like-
for the vendors. So one thing that we always consider is like with our farmers, they have to pick that morning.
Yeah.
So for them, you know, and some of them travel from ways away.
Yeah.
I mean, they're local, but it might be like as far as Napa or like, you know, different place like that. Or we had some folks like south of Manzanita, Nehalem, I guess. So we're trying to kind of think about their schedules that they have to pick first in the morning, and then a lot of our vendors arrive by, say, like 11. And so they'll start setting up, but we do have some vendors that come as far away as Portland. Common Stop is one that comes to mind, but, so officially, you know, the market's open from 2 to 6, but really for our vendors, like if they're set up and people want to walk through, we just kind of unofficially allow that. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of up to the vendors to make that choice of if they want to sell or not at that time, but we're trying to kind of just think about the folks that are picking produce.
I was just curious because I think like the hours probably were somewhat dictated by the school district previously and having to rent or, you know, utilize their space, but
Possibly. I mean, it's also too thinking about, so as far as like the crew. So we've
Yeah.
got, Felipe's been an amazing partner with his crew, helping us set up and take down. So that's a pretty long day for them. And then as far as like actual market staff, it's me and Angie. So we're it. So
the question was not intended at all to like pressure you.
Oh,
to,
no,
like,
no, no.
It was just something Celeste was like, I don't know, because sometimes you think like, okay, they're coming from so far away, maybe
Right.
they want longer to try and sell.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think the question would always be open to whatever works best for the market
Yeah.
and them and you and, you know, whatever, but if it needed to change, I think that's always an option too. So,
Sure.
but thank you guys, thank you for
Yeah.
jumping there.
You are welcome to jump in wherever you need to. All right. So July board workshop, obviously, we're gonna kick that, back to Skylar.
Okay.
July board meeting, July 26th.
I have that one on my calendar.
Fantastic, thank you. And I think at that meeting, you guys are gonna talk about, the 22-23 meeting times, if there are any
Ooh.
adjustments that wanna be made to that.
I see you looking ahead.
And also talking about the 22-23 slate of officers, so, you guys will be discussing that during your July meeting.
Excited about things.
And then the August board meeting, will be on August 23rd.
Okay.
So, I will be gone for, most of the rest of July.
Peru.
Back to Peru, yeah.
Alright.
So, so you won't see me. And also our IT guy, Isaiah Collins, is out on paternity leave.
Okay.
As I understand, they're going in tonight to be induced, and so we may have a new Collins
Yay.
tomorrow. So you guys posted.
Very exciting.
So
The next,
in my
run
absence,
check.
in my absence, Adam Morse.
Oh, yeah,
if
hey,
you
coming
guys
back?
remember Adam? Adam will
Yeah.
be back for about 3 weeks, and
Okay.
so he will be around Monday through Friday. So if you guys have any issues, needing
Where did
anything,
he go off to? I know
He
he's
is
gonna
going to
some other number.
OIT in
Okay,
Klamath
yes,
Falls.
Yep, okay.
So
He's back for the summer?
he won't be back for the summer. He's coming back specifically
Aw.
to help us out.
Well, I appreciate that.
He had plans to stay in Cape Falls through the summer, but yeah.
Okay, you
So-
talked him into it.
I did. I told him there was a really great place on lake that he can stay for about 3 weeks. So yes, all the food he can eat. So yeah.
All right.
We'll be staying.
Looking forward to more coffee with Adam.
Yes.
Okay, moving right along to board comment. Erica?
Do I have to first?
Yes. I picked you.
Oh, I don't have, I won't have a lot then. I think your presentation was really great, Levi, and I think it's just awesome what's happening with the facility. And I mean, I think one thing I want to highlight, and I don't know if it's something that we could highlight more to the public, but, you know, our budget was on point, and I know that that was a major concern for the many people in the community when we bought the building.
Yeah.
And not to say that we may not have hard times in the future, but I think right now we're trending really well with grants and money and just how great it looks. So, yeah, I think you guys are doing an excellent job. You have a good core group of staff that are really committed, and I hope you guys stay. Thank you.
Thanks, Erica. Sue?
I guess, I echo that in the sense of, you know, Skylar isn't here for the first time in 7 years,
Yeah.
and things went very smoothly. He put, I'm wondering if he's stressing about that. I hope not.
No.
I hope not.
He
You might
has
be
good-
watching the meeting.
good
But it's sort of like, hey,
prep.
Skylar, you know, we're doing fine. There's a really good team of people here. And with that, I appreciate the expertise of each one of this team that brings forth quality work, and it shows to the public as well as, you know, and how efficient things run, you know, here with these meetings and, you know, the budget being right on, you know, the, all the audits that show, you know, that the work is above board and appropriate, and it's very much appreciated that things are smooth rather than chaotic. And I'm just grateful that I know that if I have a question, I can go to any one of the members here and, number one, be received openly and fairly and transparently and genuinely. And I think that's wonderful, and I think I'm very grateful to be part of this group. And I am thankful. Thank you, Levi, for your presentation and all, and I'm glad we're all here, along with Skylar.
Speaking of audits, we are starting our next audit.
Already. Okay.
We've
We
already got our
just finished.
list, so.
Not worried.
That's
Not
okay,
worried.
that's okay.
This one's gonna go fast.
Yeah. Mike?
Well said, Sue. I can't add much to that. I appreciate Melissa's work so much. Those are terrific grants. I know there's probably more hopefully good news coming in the future. I don't know why we hired a grant writer.
Other things to do.
I'm sure she does, but, I think it's amazing to close out this year, really, with this meeting. It's been, a good year, things we've just kind of cruised through it. You guys, staff has met the challenge, and, you know, if it weren't for the, you know, the biggest concern I have is not about the district right now, is how we can manage our relationship with Broadway Field, Seaside Kids, and help take care of these, this girls softball league, you know, high school league, and get this stuff squared away. It's very disruptive. You know, I was on the City Parks Advisory Committee I've been there for over 15 years, and I never would have imagined this would have happened. But I think if we can get all this worked out, you know, and have all this happen at Broadway Field, it's just going to be a plus. We've got locker room, find a batting cage, make it all work.
Yeah.
It'll be terrific, and make improvements to the building, and, you know, pump it up and get it going 24/7.
Thanks, Mike. I echo pretty much everything that's been said. I appreciate all the staff. We truly just have a great group, and all the hard work that's going. I mean, it's visible at the SRC. You can see how much better it's looking, and I think it's such a benefit to our community. Hopefully people are starting to come around to see that. And yeah, thank you everyone for being here. I did want to point out, because I realized just as Mike was talking, there is a special event that is not listed, and that is the Chalk Art Contest, which is coming up on
July 29th, 30th.
On the back page.
Yeah, 29th, which we will be there. So come out and make some fun art. I think that'll be a fun thing. Thank you, Darren, for stepping in Skylar's shoes, and have a wonderful time on your vacation, and meeting adjourned.
Thank you. So let's feel better.
Yes, that too.
Look how the weather has changed.
Oh my God. I put on a sweater.
It has to rain for the 4th, I mean.
Well, that's because
When I took my
no other way.
When I took my Subaru in,
We wouldn't know what to do.
he said, "Do you want me to wash your car?" And I went, "Yeah, does that mean it'll rain?"